Hey, how's everybody doing? We're going to be right back with you. Just a moment. I want you guys to read a little something that's going to be very valuable to you. All right. All right. Well, I hope that you got something out of that. I sure did. Hey, listen. Um, my name is Anthony Murray. I want to thank you for being with us today. I hope that you get something out of this and take the advantage of it because it's going to be loaded. I mean, really loaded. All right. Now, I want you to do something. I want you to go on Facebook. All right. There's a new feature there, and I need you to send up some stars. Yeah, like 200 stars or 5,000 stars, whatever. This helps support this platform and allows us to keep bringing you these programs. So once you do that for us, go to uh, Facebook when you have a chance. All right, because this is going to be recorded on Facebook. It's also on YouTube, right? And really take the advantage and like us, share. I mean, we want to really hit the airwaves and let people know what we have going on. So remember these words: share, 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 share. All right. That's what we want you to do. Hey, I want to thank you guys for being with us. I always like to give you a life insurance minute. A life insurance minute. You know, I was talking with somebody and they are a teacher, right? And they love their job. But you know what was interesting? What they didn't know is that their 403B could actually run out. Yeah, it's not lifetime payout. And so if you have a retirement plan, you need to check that out. If you have a pension, you need to find out what fee they're charging you if there's a fee involved for your pension. Usually with pensions, you don't have to worry about that. But a lot of companies, you know what they did? They transitioned and went from pensions to 401ks. They actually moved a lot of people's money into the 401k. Now, with that said, you're going to have a fee and tax. You don't know what the tax rate's going to be when you retire, right? So that's something to really consider, something to look at. Hey, guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with our guest. His name, again, is Attorney Glenn Wagstaff. Now, he is with LSPN, and they are part of the World Financial Group Network. Okay, remember I told you guys before that our network is very wide. It's huge. We have close to 200 companies that we deal with. All right. If I can't find what you want, chances are it does not exist. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that chances are it don't exist. Okay. My name is Anthony Murray, and I'd like to welcome our guest today. Again, his name is Attorney Glenn Wagstaff. Attorney Wagstaff, thank you for being with us.
Good to see you again. Glad to
Likewise, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
It has.
Yeah, so you've been doing a little traveling, I gather.
all over the place.
All over. Wow. All right. Now tell us a little bit about LSPN, what the abbreviation is for, how long has it been in existence, where you headquartered out of?
Yeah, so LSPN stands for Legal Site Professional Network.
All right. Can you turn your volume up just a little more?
Let me see. Is that any better?
Oh, that's a lot better.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it stands for Legal Site Professional Network. We have attorneys across the country, and we're here basically to provide support and service related to estate planning and advanced planning. So we help with everything from simple powers of attorney and wills and trusts to complex tax planning, legacy planning, asset protection planning, business planning. And we work very closely with advisors that are part of the financial literacy campaign to make sure that people are getting, kind of a holistic approach to their financial situation. And we help on the legal side.
All right. Great. Great. So now, how long has LSPN been around?
We're actually going to be celebrating our 10 years in business next year.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. But now, how long have you been in law?
About the same. So
About the same. Okay. Okay.
I started my own firm, started my own company just shortly after passing the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Event, an entrepreneurship event, and they said to interview your future, and they said, look at your boss, look at what they make, look at what their lifestyle is. Is that what you want in the future? And at the time, I was working for a boutique, estate planning firm.
Mm-hmm.
The main partner was always struggling to bring in work for everybody. He was on his second marriage, making about 80,000 a year. He hadn't bought a home. And I just thought, I don't want that to be me in the future. I should get out now. So I started.
Right.
And here we are.
Wow. Man, that's awesome. So you have pretty much. Well, let me ask you something before I make that statement. What is it that LSPN does not deal with, if there is such a thing?
Well, I mean, recently we've been expanding our network to be able to refer out other work, but traditionally we only focus on the estate planning piece, right? So if somebody needs personal injury attorney or bankruptcy or family law or other areas of law, we don't really get into those things. We really just specialize in helping people with planning their legacies and their estates.
Okay. That's great. So LSPN is, I would say, still, I mean, it's a matured company. It's been around for 10 years. I say any company under 5 years are still in the development stages, but you guys being here around 10 years, I see that you're going to be out there for a while. You guys are going to be doing well for a long time. Now, let me ask you another question. How long have you guys been involved with WFG?
So about 2 years in, we were able to form a relationship with Legacy Shield.
Mm-hmm.
And so the LSPN brand came from our relationship with Legacy Shield. Originally, it was the Legacy Shield Professional Network.
Right.
And so, we basically were the professional network, the attorney network for another company for about 8 years, working with WFG. And then after that, Legacy Shield ended up kind of leaving the platform, and so we started working directly with the marketplace. So that's kind of. But the firm, the law firm that manages everything for the network, like I said, we're celebrating our 10th year next year, and it's been recognized by several international publications as the top estate planning firm in the country.
Wow.
And we're actually the largest estate planning firm in the country.
Really? So who you're recognized by different magazines or
magazines and international publications, and every year we get about 8 or 9 awards from different publications.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Glenn, you've been holding back, man. You've been holding back on us. All right. So you guys are being recognized nationally and internationally, or are you just doing all right, both national and international? All right.
Yeah,
So you're working primarily within the country, but you're also expanding outside. Is that it?
we have attorneys licensed at this point, licensed in 14 countries.
Whoa, 14 countries. That's amazing. Wow. Hey, look, man. Yeah. Now, last time we were together, I didn't know all this.
Well,
Now, huh?
business grows.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. So, the United States. Name a couple of the countries for us.
We have attorneys licensed in several Latin American countries, including Mexico and El Salvador and Peru. We have attorneys licensed in a few Asian countries. We have attorneys in China. We have attorneys in the Philippines. We have a couple African countries, Nigeria and Cameroon.
Really?
European countries, Great Britain and France, and so yeah, we're
you guys are all over the place, man. And you are. Did you say you guys are the largest?
So we currently have 136 attorneys, and so there's not a lot of firms that focus on estate planning. There's big firms that have estate planning departments. And generally they'll have, maybe 5, 10, 15, attorneys that are focused on the estate planning side of things. But the biggest firms in the U.S. don't focus on estate planning. So we are a firm. Yeah.
What, man, this is something. This is something. You are the largest estate planning law firm in the U.S.
That's right.
Well, I got to tell everybody about this. Hold on one moment. Let me put this up here. I want people to see this. I want people. Largest estate planning law firm in the USA, and you're part of WFG. So now, when someone with WFG wants to work with LSPN, what exactly do they have to do?
Well, there's a website, and we have everything kind of flowing through the website. So an agent would register on the website and put in their information and connect their bank account and everything, and then we would basically we pay direct, right, when we have referrals that come to us that we are able to help clients with. And the idea is that, they send in a referral with the client name and information, and then we reach out, we schedule the appointment, we'll, guide them through what their needs are. There's no cost for a consultation when they come as a referral through a WFG associate. And then if we're able to help with something, then we help. And all of our programs and products that we offer at that point is on a discounted rate because they came as a referral. And then we'll follow up and help them to put everything in place.
All right, so your programs and your products are at a discounted rate for WSB referrals.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's generally, if you were to go to an attorney on the open market, somebody who knows what they're doing, and you were to price out the same plans that we would offer, they're generally going to be about twice as much.
Wow. Hey, if you guys haven't heard that, let me help you see it. All right. Programs and products discounted rate for WSB referrals. Now, listen, I don't know if you know how big that is, but that is super. Now let's get into the meat of our show today. Let's talk about wills and trusts. All right. A lot of people, I believe, let me start off by saying this. Um, let me see my comments. I got a comment saying, okay, all right, all right. I believe that a trust is part of a legacy or a will. People are thinking about legacy, they're thinking about leaving something tangible for their family. But when it comes to legacy, folks, you have to go beyond tangible. I believe legacy begins with morals, all right, something you pass down, morals, um, ethics, all right, instilling in the hearts of people or your children right and wrong. That's legacy, helping them to identify who they are. Not tell you what, if you don't teach your children about money, then you're going to have a problem, or they're going to have a problem, because chances are they're going to blow it. All right. So we have this expert who deals with wills and trusts, and he's going to tell us about wills and trusts, because that too will be considered part of legacy. Part of legacy. Hey, Glenn, let's start off with this. Which one is better, or what's the advantage of one over the other? Let's talk about wills first. Well, let's, which one is better? Let's start right there.
Sure. So, I mean, most people have heard about a will or a trust, and a lot of people just don't know the difference between the two. But the reality is that if you have a will, first of all, your will doesn't do anything until after you pass away. Its purpose is to give instructions on what should happen with your estate after you're gone. A trust is what we call a living document. It starts protecting things immediately. So even before away, it's protecting you. And so that's the first difference. The second difference is, if you have a will, your will has to go through probate, has to go through a court process in order for it to be verified and for it to be valid. There's nothing wrong with that, except that the court process can take a long time. It can be expensive. It can cost a lot of stress on the family. It's very easy for someone to contest in that process, or contest the document. And if you have a trust, the trust doesn't not have to go through that process. It can be administered informally. It doesn't have to go through the court system. So every will go through probate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a trust, hopefully it's structured properly, it does not have to go through probate.
Okay. So now a person could actually bypass going to probate, and that's going to save them some money. My mother had a will; she didn't have a trust, and my brother was the executor of the estate, so he had to go to court. I think it was 3 times. Now he was living in Connecticut, so he had to go back and forth. So that was expense there. And then we had to pay the probate court, whatever that fee was. I don't know what it was. But before we got any money, they took their money. Mm-hmm. All right. And so wills are good. And I always tell people this. A will is good. Nothing wrong with a will. All right. But if you want to save money and bypass probate and have more authority over what's going on with your properties, your fortune, your wealth, a trust is the way to go. I think. What do you say? What do you say?
Generally speaking, once someone has minor children and real estate, then that's when we recommend having a trust. And if you have real estate and you don't have kids, it's probably still a good idea to have a trust.
All right. Real estate and don't. So even if someone does not have children, they should have a trust.
Yeah, it's very difficult to transfer real estate without having to go through probate unless you have a trust.
Okay. Say that one more time. Very difficult.
It's very difficult to transfer real estate to, whatever beneficiary you want to leave it to, outside of probate unless you have a trust.
All right. So what if somebody does not have a trust, they have a will, and they have property that they're leaving for their children? Then what?
Well, so the first thing is if the children are younger than 18, they can't actually receive anything until they turn 18.
Okay.
So they're going to have to be appointed as a guardian or conservator for the kids, and they're going to have to report to the court on what they're doing with the assets, with the money, every single year until they turn 18. And as soon as the kids turn 18, then they'll have 100% access to everything, no strings attached. So that may or may not be what you want, right? But that's the process that would happen if you have minor children that would inherit something. And that can get difficult if nobody has the, the authority to claim, let's say, life insurance or something like that until you go to get that authority. Well, if you have a trust, your trustee can claim it right away. They start managing it for the kids until the kids are old enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have children and they're over 18, you don't have to worry about that. So if you leave real estate, nobody can do anything with the real estate until they have proper legal authority to be able to manage it. If you have a will or if you don't have a plan, that means that you have to go to court and get that authority through the probate process. But if it's in the trust, then your trustee can just, administer it according to your wishes, more or less immediately.
I know when we executed the will, it took I don't know, around 6 months. Around 6 months before everything was finalized. It's been several years now, so I don't remember exactly, but it was around 6 months. So and that was with the will, but with the trust, you have immediate gratification, so to speak. Now, will a trust also cover medical issues?
So when you do a trust plan, generally you do multiple documents. So you have your trust, you will also have what's called a pour over will, just in case something's left out of the trust, then the will will put it into the trust. You'll have a financial power of attorney and a medical directive, healthcare power of attorney. And so those documents allow someone to speak on your behalf if you can't do it yourself and you're still alive. And so for medical decisions, you're authorizing somebody to make medical decisions for you. Okay.
And that because I know a will has a medical directive. All right. So that really, would you say a will is incorporated into a trust or not necessarily?
So when you do a trust, generally you will do a will along with it. It's called a
will. Okay. All right. Hey guys, listen. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see scrolling across our workshops that we offer free of charge, Monday through Friday. We cover some of that information in there. These workshops are online. You can get the schedule. Just go to that website right there where you can sign up for the workshop. And if you want more information about the workshops, guess what? You can call me. Holler at me. All right. My office is located right in Rankin, Georgia, or Rincon, Georgia. I don't know why they call it Rankin. It's spelled R-I-N, but it's pronounced R-A-N. Rincon, Georgia. All right. And I'm right on the main road. All right. So I want to invite you guys to visit with me. And if you have any questions, now's the time. Write in the questions. Write them now. Type them in the comments section. Let's take the advantage of this man of wealth. Look, you don't understand the value of having someone as busy as this gentleman to come on our show to inform us and tell us about wills and about trust and the value of a will, the value of a trust. You need this information. So I want to encourage you to share it. Once again, they have the largest estate planning law firm in the USA. And the thing that got me, and I didn't know this before, They're international. International. Wow, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know, a couple of weeks ago, are you guys by chance in Kenya or Liberia?
Not currently.
Not. I like that answer. Not currently. I like that answer. Now, let me ask you something. With your firm, can a person get a will and not a trust?
Sure.
Okay.
What we do is we will guide a client through, their personal situation, and we'll make recommendations on what makes sense for them. They can choose not to listen to those recommendations. There's a lot of people who think that they know better, right? But
Right.
You'll know what a professional would recommend for your situation, and you can make an informed decision at that point.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to pretty much present to them everything. Look, this is what. Well. Before I even say that, you actually do a consultation with them, so
Right.
you'll know what you can offer, right? So you're going to do that consultation. The consultation is going to pretty much give you a picture of what you guys offer. Now, and then from there, you'll be able to point them in the right direction.
Correct.
All right. Now, let me ask you something else. Is it a one fee fit all, or does it differ based on the circumstance?
It differs based on the circumstance. So some situations are more complicated and we need to address specific concerns. For example, we sat down with a family the other day. They have a special needs child. If their child were to inherit something, they'd lose all their benefits. We don't want that to happen. But there are ways to protect their benefits and allow them to receive their inheritance at the same time.
All right.
Through special needs trust. And it's a little bit more complicated, but it's the type of protection that they need.
Okay. All right. Now look, guys, I don't know if you know how critical that is. All right. And let me put this up here for you so you guys can see this. Programs are discounted. Programs and products are discounted. You get a discounted rate for WSB referrals. I'm WSB. All right. I'm WSB. So, hey, if you need to look into this, or if you're a WSB and you're watching this today, you need to go on their website, LSPN website, and sign up with them, because guess what? You get paid for every referral they help. Every referral they help that they're able to sell them a product or a program, you get a referral fee. So it's not just something where you're not going to get anything out of it. All right, now let me ask you something. We're getting a little weather resistant here on the internet because of it's really, really windy out here. Where are you guys located anyway?
So our headquarters are in Utah.
Utah. All right. How's the weather?
The weather's great right now.
Yeah, man. We just had some rain, tornadoes, and now it's a little windy out. So that's why the sound's just a little choppy. But thank God we're all good now. Yeah. We're all good now. All right. Hey, look, we're not going to hold you too much longer because I know you're busy. But folks, if you have questions, you need to put them in the comments so we can ask and find out how they could help you. All right. They could help your clients or your friends or your family. Let me ask you, do you run into a lot of folks that come to you that are absolutely clueless as to what they need, what they have? Even some people that may have a will or they may have a trust with another attorney and it may be old. Do you ever have situations where people come to you with something like that and they want you to handle things for them?
Yeah, all the time. So most Americans don't have a proper plan in place. Many of them don't have anything in place. And what we find when we sit down with people, even when we review plans that they've done previously, is that it's not reflecting what they wanted, and it hasn't been updated in years, and they have, things that they still need to address. As a new attorney, I always used to give the benefit of the doubt that somebody else was doing a good job and that they were going to do it better than me, right? I was brand new. I just assumed that
All
other
right.
attorneys, they always did it better. And time again, I would review these plans that were done for people and find simple mistakes and issues and problems within their plan that, quite frankly, probably shouldn't have been there. And so that was one of the things that motivated us to start our firm, was to make sure that we were providing the right services for people and approaching things correctly. Every time we get into a new market, I think, well, they're probably good to go here. They probably have a good, they have good professionals that, how can we compete? We got to Southern California, we started an office down there, and my aunt was looking for somebody to help her with some Medicaid planning for her aunt. And she knows that I'm in this field, but she just assumed that we couldn't help her because she didn't realize that we had an office in California. And so she looked up the best elder law attorney that she could find on the internet, right? Best ratings, had 30 plus years of experience, just everything looked good on paper, right? And this lady charged her $8,000 to do a trust plan, and then charged her hourly to travel to and from the meetings. They had 3 meetings, so that adds up, right? $300, $400 a month.
Wow.
And then she had me look over the plan just to make sure that everything was the way it needed to. She wanted to get a second look at it. And you know what I found in there? Where this is from the best elder law attorney in Southern California, according to Google. I found the previous client's information in the documents still.
Hmm.
Previous client's information was still in the documents. They didn't even look it over for quality control to make sure that they
Wow.
had all the previous client's information. So, I mean, the thing is that you want to work with someone who knows what they're doing. But a lot of times, the industry has given us a bad reputation because people just assume that it's just documents and it's just, I can get this online. It shouldn't cost much. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. All I need is a simple will. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. When you competent professional that's helping you to do it the right way, then you have the peace of mind that everything's taken care of. A lot of times people get their plan done and then they find out years later that it wasn't done right. And unfortunately, most of the time, people blame themselves and they say, oh, well, serves me right. I shouldn't have worked with that person. I had a feeling I shouldn't have worked with that person. Or I had a feeling I shouldn't have done it myself. Or I had a feeling I shouldn't have done it on LegalZoom. And they blame themselves. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't think it's a good trend, but we want to make sure that we're protecting people properly.
Wow. Wow. Hey, look, this is critical. So you guys will go through and just look at things for people. Hold on, I do have a comment here. Wouldn't a life estate? I'm gonna put it up. Here's a question for you. Wouldn't a life estate keep a property out of probate court after the death of the owner? Now, the young lady that is asking a question is actually an attorney in another state. All right, so she just had a question for you. Wouldn't a life estate keep a property out of probate court after the death of the owner?
So a life estate is the right to live in the property, right? And it's actually subdividing your property rights of, somebody to be able to use and enjoy the property, and then somebody who actually owns title to the property. So a life estate by itself would not be enough to keep it out of probate, because somebody's still going to have to receive title and have that remainder interest, and that would have to go through probate. There are in some states allow for a payable on or a transfer on death deed that can be done, or in some states they call it a ladybird deed, where you actually execute the transfer, but it just doesn't happen until after you die, and that would avoid if it's done properly.
Okay. Okay. So there's steps that have to be taken. In other words, there's things that have to be done, and could someone do this on their own, or would it be better for them to go through an attorney?
Well, that's an interesting question. So if you're doing a really basic estate plan, you're just doing a will, and you want to do it yourself. If you write it all in your own handwriting, it will be honored. It'll be valid, right? And you just need to make sure that you're providing the instructions properly and it's clear and everything else. But that'll be honored by the court. If you do a trust, a lot of times, people are able to draft their own documents. It turns out okay. We had a lady that, she ended up doing her documents herself, and she wanted us to make some revisions for it. And the interesting thing was she told us that she used to be a paralegal. She said, to put this thing together, I put in 60 hours of work, make sure I got it right and everything else. And then we looked it over and we said, oh, this is good work. You did a good job. It's addressing everything you need. Let's go ahead and make these changes. And she said, you know what? Let's just redo it. I don't want to spend the time and the research and everything else myself. I just trust you to do it now that I know how difficult this is to try to do it myself.
Wow. Because I know there's and with WSB we have companies that offer wills, but they have like 30 questions or 40 questions. I mean, the list just keeps going on with things that we have to answer to get it done. And after looking at that, I said, oh man, there is actually a lot to doing a will. I mean, it could be done. There's actually a lot to doing it. Now, I know someone whose client had one of those wills, or they got it offline, I forget now, and they did not have it notarized. When someone's doing a self-will, do they have to have it notarized? Because this lady's family took it to court, and the judge would not honor the will because it wasn't notarized.
So there are two ways that you can do a will and make sure, like if you're doing it yourself, make sure that it's valid. One is you do what's called a holographic will. That's what I was just talking about, where you write it out in your own handwriting. Doesn't work typing it out and signing it. That's not the same. Got to be in your own handwriting completely, right? That's called a holographic will, and that will be honored. The other option is if you type it out, or if you have some program that helps you or whatever, and you create your document, then there's certain protocols that you have to follow in order for it to be valid.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, most states are going to require 2 witnesses, and most states are going to require that it's notarized.
Okay. And that's what happened with that person. Ladies and gentlemen, let me point something out to you, that Attorney Wagstaff is the head of the largest estate planning law firm in the USA. All right. Now, you could take a chance doing it yourself, but why? If you have a law firm that could do it for you. Now, I always recommend to people this: get a trust. If you could afford to get a trust, get a trust. All right. You're going to bypass probate. Now, I did hear of, I forget who it was a famous family where the family member died and left the spouse a trust, and the children or somebody else in the family tried to fight the trust. First day in court, the judge threw it out because he said it was protected by the trust. So I don't know if that happens all the time, but in that situation, the court case lasted one day, and the judge threw it out. And to me, it was like, all right, the trust trumps it all. So the trust really carries a lot of weight going to court, doesn't it? Or could you explain that to us?
Well, if you have a will, just imagine you have a will and you have to present it to the court for it to be verified and for everything to be followed in it. And the court's going to have a process where they're going to say, okay, well, is this a proper will? Is it correct? Does anybody object to this thing? We have this person that's saying that they're responsible for the estate as the executor. The will names them, but does anybody have any reason why they don't agree with this? And anybody can pop up and say, yeah, I don't agree. It's already in court. That's built into the process. Somebody gets to raise their hand and say that they're not in agreement with whatever's going to happen. Whereas with the trust, in order for anybody to contest it, they have to go hire an attorney. They have to take it to court. They have to start the case, and there's some filing fees involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to affirmatively prove to the court that either the trust wasn't done properly, that somebody exercised undue influence on the person that created the trust, or that the person who signed the trust wasn't in their right mental capacity when they did it. They can't prove those. They're not going to have any leg to stand on. And even if they do prove it, if they can't win their arguments, then they're going to be subject to something called a no contest clause, which says that they lose everything that they would have gotten under the trust because they're fighting against the trust. And the other thing that makes it difficult to contest a trust is that the assets of the trust, the trustee is empowered to use those assets to defend the trust. And so, it's very difficult for someone to prevail against the trust if it's done correctly.
Wow. Hey, well, right now, my family, we have a will, but I'm telling you, I'm getting a trust. I am getting a trust. And I don't know what's taking me so long. All right, so Glenn, don't worry, you're going to be hearing from me, and now I'm trying to get this done this year. Now, I was talking with somebody who was saying that they really want to get a trust. They have several houses. They're still working, but they have several properties. All right. And I said one thing to him. I said, depending on what you need in the trust determines the price. Would that be pretty accurate?
That would be accurate, yeah. But 80% of the time, simple situations, it's going to be pretty standard, and it'll fall in our standard packages. And then if there's something more complicated, then obviously we'll point that out and we'll explain why and so on.
Wonderful. Again, let me just mention, folks, largest estate planning law firm in the USA. All right. They're not only national, they are international. Now, let me ask you something, because I know there's more than one attorney watching this. What type of protocol is required if an attorney wants to connect with your firm and be part of LSPN?
So we have a lot of opportunities for that. So we have an expanded network of attorneys that are just reviewing, or co-counsel attorneys that can assist with cases. And it's very easy for someone to be able to connect to that network if they just abide by a certain code of ethics that we have. And then if somebody wants to align their practice a little bit more closely with us and take advantage of the connections that we've built over last few years to help them to grow their practices, we are looking for attorneys that are a good fit. So we're constantly looking for attorneys that want to transition into estate planning, or maybe it part of their overall practice, but it's just one piece, and they do other things. Or somebody that maybe they're an established estate planner and they want to align their entire practice with us.
So do you guys charge I may be asking the wrong question. Is there a fee? Is there a fee involved for the attorneys to become part of LSPN?
So there's no fee to become part of the network, but once they're part of the network, We have some training that they have to go through, and we have, as they handle cases, then there's a fee split arrangement. So,
Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. Hey, look, I know there's some attorneys, and I asked that question specifically because I know we have some attorneys that's watching today. And guys, what can largest, did I say largest? I even typed it in there for you. Largest estate planning law firm in the USA. That's USA, United States of America. They're national and international and steadily growing, steadily growing. All right. Hey, Glenn, why don't you wrap it up for us and tell us and closing comments, what would you say about the importance of having an estate or excuse me, a trust?
Well, one of the things that we see all the time is that people procrastinate taking care of these sort of things. And, at the end of the day, it's difficult to know whether you're going to have problems after you pass away, whether the family's going to get along or not. It's difficult to know that. But every once in a while, we have situations where we can foresee what's going to happen. And in those situations, it's very important to make sure that you're protecting yourself, because otherwise, people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. And you're going to fall into the default of what the state will do and what the processes of everything else for your estate is going to have done if you don't have a proper plan. So, for example, I talked with a lady the other day, and she said, I'm remarried, second marriage. My husband has children that don't talk to him. They haven't talked to him in years. And we have children together. And I want to make sure that our estate is going to go to our children. But we already know that when he dies, his children are going to show up and demand the money. How do we know that? Because 2 years ago, there was somebody who, or maybe it might not have been 2 years ago. It might have just been a few months. But there was somebody in the community that passed away that had the same name as her husband.
Oh, wow.
And so when he passed away, the kids showed up at his front doorstep to try to collect everything for the house and try to sell his property. They weren't even related to the guy, but because he had the same name as their dad, they thought it was their dad.
Wow.
So sometimes we get to peel back the curtain and see what the future is going to bring to us. And in that situation, she said, we already know what the problem is going to be. We got to prevent it now, right? So for the rest of us, we take a lesson from those people and be able to see and know that, it's important to have a proper plan, because if not, you're setting up your family to fight. You're setting up your family to have problems or stress or delays in them being able to enjoy what you're leaving for them. And if you don't want to have those problems, then it's a matter of having a few simple documents in place to protect yourself.
Wow, man, so beautifully said. Hey, Attorney Wagstaff, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for just sharing that information. Once again, folks, they are the largest estate planning law firm in the USA. All right, that carries some weight. And they receive awards and notice and different law magazines. Is that correct?
Yeah, legal, financial magazines, trade magazines.
Man, oh man. Look, folks, if you want somebody that's going to stand in your corner to make sure things are done right, to make sure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, get in touch with me. My name is Anthony Murray. You see my information is going to be scrolling on the bottom of the screen, or you can email me. There's my email right there. You can email me, all right? And you can work through WSB. And guess what? Because if you work through WSB, you get a discount. I can't stress it enough. You want to save some money? Look, this is Financial Sense. I'm trying to help you save money. All right? Save money. All right? Now, you work with me. I work with you. We work with him. And guess what? You're going to save some money. So you can email me. All right? Or my information is scrolling across the bottom. I want to thank Attorney Wagstaff for being with us. I don't see any more questions coming up. We're going to let you go, sir. And we want to thank you once again for being with us. And we're going to see you next time. Hey, look, guys, hold on. I want to share some information with you that something we have coming up, our Juneteenth celebration. Attorney Wagstaff, thanks for being with us. We're going to have you back, sir.
Sounds good. Good to see you, everybody.
All righty. Take care. All right. So this is where we're at. Join us for our Juneteenth Business Expo celebration tomorrow in Rankin, Georgia at 272 South Columbia Avenue across from Geo Vista Credit Union on Highway 21. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 3. That is, if there's no storm. If there's a storm, don't you dare look for us. I'm not going to be out there if there's a storm. But if it's just cloudy, hey, I don't mind. Long as it's not rain, because we're going to have, it's going to be packed. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be someone sharing the history of Juneteenth. There's going to be other businesses there. All right. There's going to be opportunities. Guess what, folks? If you feel you are interested in learning financial literacy or become a part of this worldwide opportunity, I'm looking for at least 3 people that's interested in learning or starting their own financial literacy business with me. I want you to partner with me. I want you to become partners with what I'm doing. That's right. I can't do it all myself. I need people from all over the country. I say 3, but Lord knows I'll take 20. Listen, we are in a season in our world economy where things are transitioning, where people are being replaced by computers and so forth and so on. Don't you know these folks are going to need life insurance? They're going to need wills. They're going to need a trust. They're going to need estate planning. They're going to need everything you could think of. We also offer educational support. We help people find, we could connect them with one of our companies that would help them find grants and scholarships and help them with college and student loans. Hey, listen, the price is right. The time is right. The season is right. And it's right for you. Okay? It's right for you. All right, guys. Listen, I want to thank you for being with us. If you can't make it tomorrow, I will be at another business expo hosted by the city of Port Wentworth, Georgia. Highway 21 in Port Wentworth, behind City Hall. You can't miss it. There's going to be a bunch of us out there, weather permitting. We will be there. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. There was a lot of information there. There was a lot of information. All right. And I can't stress enough the importance of at least having a will. But definitely you want to get a trust if you could afford a trust. I hope you got all your questions answered. If you didn't, keep in mind, you could actually call me and I'll give you that information. You could contact attorney Glenn Wagstaff yourself and he will give you free consultation. The initial consultation is free. All right. Why? How is that possible? Because you're referred from WSB, World System Builder, World Financial Group. Hey guys, look, I enjoyed it. What a great show today. What a great time. There's just a lot of information. Man, it's amazing. the things we learn when we ask questions, the things we learn when we're in the right place at the right time. Hey, don't forget about next week. Next week, we're going to be with you again. It's going to be another awesome show. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tell you to share, and be there, and don't miss it. We'll see you next time.
Like this.